Yo, what's up? Good morning, this Angel. I am here this morning with another channel message, and this one is different. I actually loved it. This channel message came through because about 5 o'clock this morning, I am a channeler, intuitive medium, energy reader. So as I was thinking, I've been really obsessed with like the Great Pyramids in Egypt, and I went back to Atlantis, and I got to thinking about it. I didn't really get to think about it. I kind of posed a question to my spirit guides, my guys, and I was like, somebody actually posed the question to me, which was, why are women suppressed? Like, what is it? So I went back and I was able to actually go back in a channel message. And it's interesting because I don't know if I ever go back this far, but if you think about it, let's really just dive into it, right? So if women goddesses ruled Atlantis, right? And then Atlantis had fallen and women were taken from their throne. That begins the struggle of women who are oppression or quieting women, taking women's power. So what I mean by that is that women ruled Atlantis and Khem in Egypt during this time. So we have to go back and look at our goddesses. Who were the goddesses? So for instance, the goddess of water was Tnuft. Tnuft ruled water, and she's come to me many times, and I was like, why is this energy so prominent? Why is she so prominent? Well, it's because women ruled. So if you think about the Great Pyramids, we associate the Great Pyramids with Thoth. Thoth built the Great Pyramids. Sure, he orchestrated the men to build the Great Pyramids, but the pyramids were actually designed by women. So let's let that sink in. A woman designed. So it's actually a feminine and a masculine energy, which is your negative and your positive, that are fused together to create something so amazing. So your women were your architectures. They were your rulers. They actually were the ones who were of power. So let's go back. So now we need to go back and figure out, like, who's the god. We know the goddess of water, the goddess of fire, the goddess of earth, the goddess of wind, and the goddess of ether. Those are your 5 major symbols in alchemy, which are said to be the most prominent and the ones that encompass everything. So let's go back and see who the goddesses of all that. But in order to find that, you got to go back and see who the original female ruler was. So that's kind of the journey I'm on. So I got the answer, and it was like, oh my gosh. So let's say the fall of Atlantis was not because of a great war or great flood. The fall of Atlantis was the fall of women in leadership, women power. So you have people like Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra wanted power. So if you go back and look at the Lord of the Rings, there's one guy who wanted power over all of the different tribes. Same with Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra wanted power over everything. So if you think about that, that would begin the fall of Atlantis. So I'm not saying Atlantis is in Egypt. Atlantis is, and to me, is everywhere. Because as these women bear children, these children were placed in different parts of the world with their different gifts, with their different, spiritual aspects, to rule in these different parts of the world from a woman. So one woman bared these children. So think about that. So is it far-fetched to say that women's pain has started and is deep-rooted from Atlantis, when the women were overthrown and the taking of women's power started then? See, naturally we associate that with the Salem witch trial, when women were being burnt at the stake for practicing what they call witchcraft. It wasn't initially witchcraft. What they were practicing was herbal healing. They were your alchemists. Females were your alchemists. Herbal healing, herbs. They were able to come up with different tinctures and things to help heal you through things that you were suffering through. So they were taken down or deemed as witches. See, witchcraft is no more than your natural herbalist. It's your natural person that's out here growing herbs, using them to help heal themselves. Those are your, as we call them, witches. Or as modern day society or the Westerns call them, as your witches. So if we go back to that, so really the fall of women, the fall of Atlantis was the fall of women's power, the feminine energy. So I feel like now over the years, we've done a great job of getting back the feminine energy, but we haven't got back to the feminine energy. So if I go back and look at that, let's go back and see how can we change this narrative, if all that makes sense. So we want to change that narrative. We want to give women their power again, with ruling with a masculine energies, because together you have a negative and a positive. You have your yin and yang. And that was the download that I have today. And that was your channel message for today. And I hope this resonates with somebody. If you have any questions, drop it below. Again, I'm Angel. I'm your channel, your medium, your intuitive mind, so to speak, or as most people call me, your intuitive book. Any questions, drop them below. And I hope this resonates with somebody. And I hope this makes sense for somebody. As I said that, I saw 444 on the time. Namaste. Have a great day.